Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
Article 22 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples state that 1. Particular attention shall be paid to the rights and special needs of Indigenous elders, women, youth, children, and persons with disabilities in the implementation of this declaration. 2. States shall take measures in conjunction with Indigenous peoples to ensure that Indigenous women and children enjoy the full protection and guarantees against all forms of violence and discrimination. In this radio program, we will focus on the rights of women and Indigenous women in particular.
International Women's Day, IWD, is a global holiday celebrated annually on March 8th to bring attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, and violence against women. This International Women's Day, 8 March 2023, the theme is Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. According to UNWomen.org, women make up only 22% of artificial intelligence workers globally. A global analysis of 133 AI systems across industries found that 44.2% demonstrate gender bias. A survey of women journalists from 125 countries found that 73% had suffered online violence in the course of their work. Now, women are still being discriminated against, and there are not enough leadership roles in the workplace, and sadly, also in the communities where Indigenous women reside. In August 2022, on the occasion of Indigenous Peoples Day, the experts had the following to say about Indigenous women in the workplace, according to ohchr.org. Indigenous women are active change agents in society and champions of sustainability. Indigenous women are custodians of a collective accumulation of scientific knowledge and technical skills related to food and agriculture, health and medicine, natural resource management, climate change, language, arts, crafts, and spiritual practices. This scientific knowledge has a key role to play in safeguarding ecosystems and ensuring environmental justice and equity. Indigenous women's in-depth understanding of botany and animal species is a powerful tool to mitigate against the catastrophic impacts of climate change. The development, application, preservation, and transmission of Indigenous women's knowledge is inextricably linked to the way Indigenous women use their territory, lands, and resources. Because of their relationship with the land and natural environment, and the marginalization they face for being women and Indigenous, they are disproportionately affected by the loss of lands, territories, and resources due to climate change, conflicts, development, and the creation of protected areas. In addition, multiple and intersecting forms of discrimination, as well as violence against women, create barriers to women's development and use of their scientific knowledge, including access to lands and resources, educational and employment opportunities, healthcare, and political participation in national and local governance. Indigenous women are disproportionately impacted by the ecological, economic, and spiritual effects of extractive industries on their lands. Their knowledge is devalued when the natural resources they steward are exploited without their free, prior, and informed consent. Loss of access to and ownership of lands deprives them of their community roles and occupations and threatens their ability to maintain and transmit their scientific and technical knowledge. Historically, Indigenous women have been leaders in their communities. The preservation of Indigenous peoples' communities, values, and ways of life depend on Indigenous women and girls regaining their roles as leaders within their communities. States should ensure effective legal protection of Indigenous women's rights to lands, territory, and resources, and promote the meaningful participation of Indigenous women in the management and regulation of their lands and resources. This must include their participation in the consultation processes on administrative and legislative issues, as well as projects that may impact Indigenous lands, territories, and resources with the aim of obtaining their free, prior, and informed consent. States should take affirmative measures to guarantee equal and full public and political participation of Indigenous women including by establishing and strengthening institutions for Indigenous women in leadership roles.
The experts refers to the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the UN Voluntary Fund, and the UN Expert Mechanism on Indigenous Peoples. For more on the rights of Indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook and Twitter.